So we've been talking about section views in this chapter. Section views are special views that help us see what's going on inside of a part. These are needed anytime you find yourself placing dimensions on a drawing and you want to place a dimension to a hidden line and there's no other place to dimension that feature, then that's the signal to you to say, hey, I need to create a section view. So section views are very important drawings that we must be aware of and ready to create and produce when necessary. So here I have your project that you're working on this week. This is a part that requires multiple section views. So you have the problem that's given to you. You need to create the top view, pretty much, or the top view would be what you see in the problem. So you're going to include the cutting line AA, which would be a full section view, and we're going to create a full section view that's going to replace the normal front view. So when I create that section view, I have to visualize what this part looks like whenever I cut right along that line. So I'm going to do that with this software now. So I've got a plane that represents my cutting plane AA, and I'm going to cut this part along that plane. So when I do that, you can see that some of the part turns blue while others are not. So the part that's blue is where material is actually being cut by the plane. So the steel or plastic or iron or whatever this material is being cut by the cutting plane, and that's where you would, as a draftsman, would create the crosshatch in those areas that are where the material is being cut. So you would need to create a front view that looks exactly like this. So the areas that are blue will have the crosshatch. The areas that are not shaded are holes or openings along that cutting line that don't require any crosshatch. So those holes or openings will be bound by object lines. So your front view should be in full section view, which would look like this. And you would add the cross sections and the cross section lines, hatching lines in the appropriate places. We'll go back to the full part, and then we want to make a cutting section view BB would replace your right side view. So I have a plane here for BB, and we're going to cut it as well. So you can see the area that's being cut, the material that's being cut. That area would have the cross hatching and the open areas would not. So in this view you would give the diameter of the larger hole. You might even locate and position this hole. You might locate the upper hole, and the diameter for that smaller hole should be given in the top view, so that's the appropriate place for that. If we want to look at the next section, which would be CC, this is also going to be to the right of the part in line, like a right side view. And here's what that section view looks like. So we cut along this plane. All the area that's blue here is actually material that's being cut. And we would show that with hatch section lining. The open areas are voids where no material is being cut by that plane, and we leave those clear. They're bound by object lines. There are no hidden lines in section views. So that's what CC would look like. And then we also have another plane for DD. Which would look like this. So we can see the hexagon. That's the void inside of the part. That's what we're trying to show with this section view. So this would be a great place to dimension that hexagon shape. We also see the location of this hole through the back side. The blue, again, is representing areas where the material is being cut, and you'll show that with a crosshatch in your drawing. And then finally, we can show the cutting plane EE, which again is off the front here, passing through these two holes, and we have the slots there on the underside. So we would draw the view just like this, and where we see the blue, that would be cross-hatched with section lines, and the others would be open. Now you wouldn't see these tangent edges here. These two lines here would not show up, but you would see the opening for the slot along the bottom and then the opening for the two holes. You would want to be sure to include your center lines and your center marks and your crosshatch, and that should help you better understand exactly what's going on along each of those section views. So hopefully this will help you get a good start on the project. Next week's project is very similar to this. It's about the same level of competency, so if you get this one down, you should have no trouble next week. If you have any questions, give me a call. Thanks.